How much could you fit into a day if you only had 24 hours to spend in Houston? Maybe the better question is, how much barbecue could you eat in just one day?
This week, we set off to explore the rainforests of Costa Rica, but not without first making the most of our extended layover in Houston.
We are Hannah and Jeremy, and this is our travel channel called The Savory Suitcase. We hope you will subscribe and join us for all of our adventures. Our journey began from the Tampa International Airport, which was recently named the best large airport for the second time in a row. The flight from Tampa to Houston was a little over 2 hours, making it just enough time to finish a good movie or about 4 episodes of Friends.
Houston is known for a few different things, including the connection to space exploration, the diverse food scene, sports teams, and museums and cultural institutions. Because we live so close to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and our trip was so short, we skipped the Houston Space Center this time, but we did get to see some really cool stuff in the Houston airport. We decided to focus on the museums and the food, specifically barbecue.
Because our flight arrived later in the evening, our choice for barbecue was limited. Most of the pit masters open in the early afternoon and serve until it's gone, and most of the popular places are sold out well before dinner time.
We picked a local chain called Pappas BBQ to start, as they were open well into late night dinner time, and it was still a really good first impression of Texas barbecue. Texas barbecue is known for its smoky, savory flavor and is made using a slow cooking method with mesquite wood to smoke the meat in true barbecue pits. Texas barbecue is unique in that it is more common to see beef brisket as the main protein rather than pork, which is more popular in other areas of the South.
The next morning, we started bright and early to make the most of the 10 hours that we had left. We started by getting a kolache, which is a sausage wrapped in soft, pillowy dough.
The word kolache is derived from the Czech word kola, meaning wheels or rounds, which refers to the shape of the pastry. Arriving in Texas along with thousands of immigrants from Czechoslovakia in the 1800s, the kolache, with such deeply rooted origins, is still a popular quick breakfast option for Texans.
After breakfast, we headed into the Houston Museum District to visit the Museum of Natural Science. We don't usually make museums a priority when visiting a new city, which is kind of ironic because I studied museum history in college, but the Museum of Natural Science in Houston houses one of the largest dinosaur fossil collections in North America, and it's widely considered a do not miss when you are in town. One small step for man. When we entered the Moran Hall of Paleontology, we were met with a docent who gave us an introduction to the different specimens they had. He even helped us identify which fossils were real and which were replicas by looking at the ones with the additional supports.
The most celebrated specimen here is the Triceratops, which is the most intact Triceratops skeleton ever discovered. It was discovered on a ranch in Wyoming. Lane, the Triceratops, was not only discovered wholly intact, but also discovered with petrified skin found in the rock around its bones. Sometimes skin impressions can be found in relation to dinosaur skeletons, but this specimen here is the actual skin of the Triceratops. We even saw this prehistoric sloth, which was dubbed Slothzilla. I promise, the ones that we saw in Costa Rica were much smaller and way more cute.
Before heading into the rest of the museum, we headed up one floor to view the Hall of Paleontology from the balcony. It's a really interesting perspective considering how much difference in scale the fossils seemed from the ground level from just one floor up. The rest of the museum houses plenty of different impressive artifacts, from collections that represent Texas, to gemstones and minerals, to the Hall of Ancient Egyptian Artifacts. The last stop that we made was the Butterfly Center, which is a 3-story glass exhibit space with a 50-foot waterfall. It is also home to over 1,500 butterflies from all over the world. The butterflies are treated to different nectars and fruits and can interact with the visitors up close and personal. Before leaving the butterfly exhibit, you do check yourself in a series of mirrors to make sure you aren't taking any butterfly souvenirs back into the museum with you.
Then it was time to head out for our next round of barbecue. There are a couple of big names in Texas barbecue throughout Houston, but since we only had enough time and stomach space for one of them, we landed on Turth BBQ. They open at 11 a.m. and regularly draw a large enough crowd that forms a line out the door. We were there on a weekday, so we didn't have to wait too long, but this is not a place that you would just pop in for a quick lunch. In addition to the standards like ribs, brisket, and pulled pork, Turth BBQ is also known for its sides, which include traditional sides like coleslaw and mac and cheese, but also some unique offerings like tater tot casserole and corn pudding.
Our total was close to $70, which was a little higher than we had expected, but we did take about half the food to go and had the second meal at the airport, so it does make it a little bit more reasonable. I start with the least spicy thing.
I live here now. I'm never leaving. What do we think?
It's not even too smoky.
No.
After lunch, we started to head in the direction of the airport. We made 2 quick stops to see some roadside attractions. The first stop is called Mount Rushhour, a Lone Star State skewed version of Mount Rushmore at a notorious Houston bottleneck. The giant busts are a tribute to American statesmanship, according to the artist, and it gives you something to distract yourself from the endless Houston traffic.
Our last stop was Graffiti Park, a vibrant collection of murals on buildings at the edge of downtown. This art has become popular for locals and visitors alike for photo sessions and snapping Instagram photos. We even saw a crew working on painting a new mural as we headed to the airport as our short but wonderful glimpse of the art, culture, and amazing food that Houston has to offer came to an end. Needless to say, we'll gladly be back for more.
Next week, we kick off our Costa Rica series, where we will see waterfalls, wildlife, and rainforests, along with all the beautiful flora and fauna that this otherworldly destination provides. We hope you will subscribe to join our next adventure.